going to hand it over to my hubby.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to stand here so I can see you. Feel a bit disconnected otherwise. My name is Vinod Nair. You can call me Vin. On the personal front, I am autistic with Asperger's syndrome. I'm a nerd. Love being a dog dad. I have two beautiful dogs and love being husband to Kirstyn. On the professional front, my professional life is now 36 years old. In that time, I've become a veteran, a best-selling author, and a high-performance coach. I've worked with CEOs, high-performance executives, business people, and a few others. Today, we are going to go over the happiness success equation. This part of the session is quite personalized, so it'll be to each and every individual here, because your definition of success is unique to you, and what makes you happy is also unique to you. So it'll be personalized. I'll be telling you two stories. We'll be doing a lot of thinking, and then we'll have a free-flowing Q&A or a discussion after that. Shall I get started? Yes? Let's go. Let's start with an exercise. This is entirely individual. You can write if you like, you can think, you can make notes on your phone, whatever works for you. So, what does success mean to you individually? What is your definition of success? And when will you say that I am successful? Not me, you. Okay, when will you say that you are a successful person? Just think about it for a moment and then we'll go forward. It's, of course, unique to you, and we are not going to share yet. We're going to do some thinking. So, for this, please close your eyes. Please close your eyes and let's get our baggage off. So, take a deep breath. Please inhale, exhale. Two more, okay? Inhale, exhale. One last one. Inhale, exhale. Keep your eyes closed. No need to open them yet. And here's a question for you with your eyes closed. I'd like you to visualize and go back to a time when you felt really happy. So just visualize a time when you were really happy. Relive that moment and consider what makes you happy. What does happiness mean to you? Thank you. You can open your eyes now. Okay, and now we come to a question. The question is your definition of happiness tied in some way to your definition of success? Many of us say, I'll be happy when I get that promotion, or I get that house, or I buy that new car. Society and life today has very subtly programmed us to tie our happiness to success at different levels. Some examples will be, I'll be happy when I make more money. I'll be happy when I become successful, or I'll be happy when I'm recognized or I get praise from others. I'll be happy when I achieve my goals, or I'll be happy when I arrive. This is quite common. There's some downsides to thinking like that. But before we get into that, I've got to tell you about Maggie May. This is story one out of story two. Maggie May moved to Canada when she was really young with her parents. So her parents managed to put her in a school, but her parents struggled to adjust and fit into Canadian life. They had financial challenges, they had social challenges, they had customary challenges. So Maggie May, throughout her childhood, always received less than. The clothes she got were less than what her classmates got. The quality or the number of toys and other things she had were always less than. So she grew up with a lot of inadequacy. And one of the things she resolved for herself was that when she has a child, she will give her child abundance. Okay? So she did grow up and she did have a child. She had a daughter, but she was a single parent. And she made this resolution to herself saying that she will provide more to her daughter. She will make sure her daughter doesn't grow up with scarcity. But being a single parent, that meant she had to work extra hard. So she put in the hours, she did the work, she pushed herself to maximum. She made sure that her daughter always had the best of clothes, the best of facilities, the best of toys, the best of everything. Her daughter grew up in abundance. But the red flags started to pop as her daughter arrived into her teens. Maggie May would get calls from the school saying, "We have this problem, we have that problem." And finally, she was called in by the counselors. And at that meeting, she was told by the counselor that we've sat with your daughter and your daughter is missing school. She's not doing well in her studies and she's getting into some addictions, some smoking, some weed, some alcohol. She's falling off by the side. So we had a few counseling sessions with your daughter. And what we've arrived at as the core of the problem is that she's missing you as her parent. She feels neglected. She feels that you just don't care. Now, this hit Maggie pretty badly because what she was doing was exactly the opposite. She was putting in the hours because she was a dedicated parent. But the result was the reverse. This can happen to any of us. It's a common story. So we got to think of a question. Does success bring happiness or can happiness bring success? It's something each of us needs to think about individually. So going by our regular programming, success should bring happiness. I'll be happy when I do this, right? But when chasing success first, what happens is happiness gets postponed. Identity becomes tied to success. Self worth fluctuates with wins and losses. And the result can be anxiety, burnout, emptiness, comparison to others or the people around us, constant moving of goalposts. You achieve one milestone, you're like, okay, what's next? Right? So let's try the other way around. First of all, let's look at success. There's two kinds of success. There's internal success and there's external success. Most of us look at external success and we chase that and tie it to our happiness. External success is money, career, status, achievements, recognition. Internal success, which is just as important, is peace, health, character, relationships, purpose, and self respect. Somehow, these sometimes they just fall by on the side in our journey. Remember that the journey is as important as the destination. Our eyes are usually on the destination. I want that promotion. I want that bump in my pay. But the journey is just as important. Happiness is a choice. You can just choose to be happy and to live a happier life. It's not as simple as that. You don't just say, I'm going to be happy and then you're happy. There's a little more to it. And how to be happy is made easier by giving your life purpose and meaning, inner alignment between your thoughts, your words, and your actions, alignment between what you want to do in the long term and what you're doing right now. Emotional regulation. Many of us are victims of our emotion. I feel, so I just feel. But we can regulate our emotions, we can take responsibility for them. Cultivating an attitude of gratitude, being able to appreciate all that we are and all that we have on a daily micro level basis, super important. Cultivating and nurturing healthy relationships, peace with oneself. If we can look at these points, then being happier on a day to day basis is much easier. It's much more attainable. Happy people enjoy the journey of life. Okay? Happy people think more clearly, sustain efforts longer, communicate better, recover faster from setbacks, and make wiser decisions. So, happiness is important even in our success journey. But note, happiness does not mean constant pleasure. It's not like you're high all the time, right? Even a happy life contains challenges, goals, struggle, discipline, sacrifice, grief, uncertainty, and responsibility. So you can have all of these and still cultivate and nurture a happy, fulfilled life. High performers often discover that fulfillment is not just found in outcomes or achievements, but it's also in having a purpose, being challenged, process, the actual work that you're doing, craftsmanship, contribution, giving, helping, and growing. There's a lot of happiness in all of these also. And it's up to us individually to find our happiness in each of these. Now, if you notice, even previously I'd used the word purpose and it's popped up here again. So, what do we mean by purpose? And why is purpose so important? Without purpose, life can be fragmented, reactive, driven by circumstance and short term opportunities rather than intention. So, what is purpose? Purpose is a higher calling, something beyond ourself and just accumulating things. It's a reason why. It's a larger reason why. Okay, usually it's altruistic. We look beyond ourselves. And how do you arrive at, or rather, what's the difference between purpose and goals? Your purpose is larger. It is something for which you were born. It's a calling. Whereas goals are what you achieve on your journey to your purpose. Okay? Goals are milestones that we need to cross in our journey in achieving our purpose. I'll give you some examples. Here's one example. Your purpose is to provide the best opportunities and environment to your children and your family. Goals would be drop bad habits, make more money, be a better parent and partner. Here's another example. Purpose is to elevate the lives of the poor somewhere. Goals create awareness, generate sponsorships, bring in accountability. So there's a difference between your purpose and your goals. Your goals are milestones. How do you find your purpose? Some of us just know from a young age, this is my purpose. This is what I'm going to do. And some of us, like me, can't figure out our purpose for a while. So if you're in the second category, then purpose may emerge gradually through reflection, through experience, and engagement with the world. It slowly becomes clear, oh, this is what I was meant to do. This is my calling. This is what fulfills me or nourishes my soul. People discover purpose by paying attention to what deeply moves them, what problems they feel called to address, and what kind of legacy they wish to leave behind. So please do give it a thought. Think about what is your purpose? What is your larger calling? Why is it so important? There are many, many benefits to having purpose. Let's take a look at them. So, purpose functions as an internal compass. It helps make decisions aligned with values rather than being swayed by short term opportunities. impulses, or external pressures. Challenges, setbacks, sacrifices are easier to endure when you know why you're going through it. Fosters a sense of responsibility and contribution, reminding us that our lives can influence and uplift others. More benefits, greater motivation, persistence, and satisfaction, even through hard times. Purpose organizes energy, prioritizes what matters, and avoids us from becoming scattered by distractions. It transforms existence from mere survival into a meaningful participation, giving both direction to our efforts and depth to our lives. Are you with me so far? Yes? Okay. So we spoke about purpose, we spoke about goals. Let me come to story number two. This is again someone I knew years ago when I was conducting training programs. This is in the late 90s or early 2000s back in India. So I used to conduct programs for a lot of tech companies. And in one such tech company, there was the HR guy whose name was Neil. Neil was a young, smart person. And he and I became friends. We used to catch lunch during the breaks. We used to meet up sometimes in the evenings. And we got along really great. Neil was a young guy who had a clear purpose in his life. And his purpose was, as the HR guy in that company, he wanted to help others tap their full potential. And he had his goals really, really clearly laid out. He knew exactly what he had to do. People loved him, he was competent, and he was doing well. Neil also had a long term goal, which was clear in his head from a young age. Neil wanted to migrate to the US. Very, very clear. The company he was working in when I met him, he was already there, I think, for 6 or 7 years. And the company had put him in the US for, I think, about 2.5, 3 years previously. During that time when he was there, he applied for his green card. His tenure got over, and now he was back in India. He used to live with his parents. His parents were fairly aged because they had had him very late in life. His dad was more or less bedridden, and his mom used to take care of his dad. One day, I was doing a program, and Neil came through the glass door exactly like this. And I saw him outside, and he was doing yay, yay, yay. So I caught him in the lunch break, and he opened this envelope and he showed me the first time I saw a green card. He said, "My green card's come. I'm going to the US." And he was so happy. It was infectious. I was happy for him, really happy. So I think it was barely a month or so, and he was off. We all went to see him off at the airport. He said bye to us, and he took off. Landed in the US, got into his job, was doing well. Back home, his father fell ill. His father was already bedridden, but his health took a turn for the worse. He landed up in hospital, and within a week, his father passed away. I don't know what the green card rules are now, but back then, if you moved into the US for a green card, you couldn't leave immediately for some time. So he was stuck, and he couldn't come back for his father's funeral. That broke his heart. It was terrible. He had this spiral downward. And within a month, his mother also passed away. And he still couldn't come back. So, this, if the earlier one broke his heart, this one broke him fully. Neil just spun out. He went into depression. He turned suicidal. He overdosed on some sleeping pills. Pretty soon fell by the side and lost his job, couldn't keep himself together, was in therapy and on SSRIs for a long time. I think it took 2 or 3 years before he could get his life back on track. Now, if you think about Neil, what did he do wrong? He had his purpose very clear, he had his goals very clear. So, what was the mistake he made? The mistake he made was, there was a clue in the previous slide. was he did not know his values very clearly. The values are vital for each and every one of us. We all have values. We just don't take the time to sit and write them down or list them out. So it's an important exercise for us to do. Values are the core principles and standards that guide how a person thinks, behaves, makes decisions, and relates to others. They act like an internal compass that shapes priorities, choices, and identity. Okay. Your values will are the, you have your purpose, you have your goals. Your values will tell you how to achieve that purpose and how to get to the goals. Mm. Values provide clarity and direction. Values create consistency in characters, support stability and self respect, essential for leadership and high performance, and their moral compass. So, for Neil, one of his values, a high value, was being available for his parents. He knew it in the back of his head, but he had never written it down. And the route to his goals and his purpose trampled on his values, which is what sent him spinning out of control. So it's very important for us to know our values, and values are unique to each and every single one of us. What I value may not be the same as what you value. That doesn't make the other person lesser than or greater than. We just have our own values. Coming to our final exercise activity, you can write this down, you can think about it, and once you've done that, we'll open up for a free Q&A between all of us. Okay? So the final exercise is list out your purpose in life, your larger purpose. Then list out your values. Very, very important. And then list out your goals. This is the right order in which to do it. Many of us just have our goals and we don't bother with our purpose or with our values. And while chasing our goals, we wind up being distracted by short term opportunities. So, a simple way to visualize this is if you take a graph, okay, a chart, a person who starts at the base and knows where he or she wants to go will find opportunities and goals that take them to the larger purpose. So even if you get slightly sidetracked here and there, you're still going towards the larger purpose. A person who is not clearly listed out their purpose and their values will go to the nearest hot looking opportunity. So your graph might end up looking like this and not really going anywhere. So by the time you reach a certain age, you're like, oh my God, I've done well, but I've achieved nothing. So it helps if we have that sense of direction. So in conclusion, I'd say get to know your purpose, list out your values, and then list out your goals and everything else that wifey said. All equally important. Okay. Thank you very much.